What is going on, everybody? Whoops. Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are breaking down our final top 16 rankings of running backs. This is before the Combine, before the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl. This is not our final rankings. We'll have the final rankings after the Combine. We'll shift some guys up. This is just post regular season, post bowl games, I guess you would say. And these are kind of the rankings after the guys have already declared. So we did hold off on this because we wanted to see if guys would declare, go back to school. There still might be some guys on here that did go back to school. I apologize. I'm only human. So let's go ahead and get into this. So Frank Gore Jr. is my number 16 guy from Southern Miss. He is obviously the son of Frank Gore, who seems like just retired about 2-3 years ago. So they almost overlapped. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, Frank Gore Jr. is not as big as his dad was. He catches the ball a little bit better, and he is a lot faster. So he's got explosiveness. He's got uh, good enough hands, and he has enough power. This is the first guy in here who I really think could be a feature back in a system. The other guys that we talked about, I know I talked about Isaiah Davis from South Dakota State and the New Hampshire running back Dylan Lobb as two guys that have the potential just because they're from smaller schools. I'm not 100% sure, but they are also guys, I guess, that have the ceiling of RB1s in the league. But Frank Gore Jr., I'm excited to see him in the Shrine Bowl because he's a guy who, if he looks really good in the Shrine Bowl against some of those guys, I mean, honestly, he could get up to probably RB5 in this, and that's big time. But he's got everything that you really want, and he's got NFL pedigree with his parents and his lineage. So, honestly, this is a very safe pick. I think that's a fourth round pick right there. I don't see him falling outside the fourth round unless he runs a tremendously horrible 4.7 or something like that. But on tape, he looks like he's probably a 4.55 guy or below. Next, Rasheen Ali from Marshall. He is a blazer. He's got good vision. When he gets out in space, he makes guys miss. He's super elusive. He's got good hands. And he can run through arm tackles. I don't think he can really handle running through guys that are waiting for him or are going to wrap him up or anything like that. Even with full speed, sometimes it's like, well, if you get him, if you get some of these running backs with full speed, they'll end up running through guys. He's not one of those guys. I think he's got that, that electric RB2 where he's a change of pace running back in him. I think he's really got that, and I think he can do that job really well. I think that's kind of where he goes in this draft as a guy that wants that change of pace. Kind of how, I'm not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs, but kind of what you saw from Detroit where they had David Montgomery as the power and Jahmyr Gibbs as that change of pace. Oh, shoot, we got him on the ropes. Let's go slip and slide. So that's how I see Rasheen Ali. Next, let's go to Dylan Johnson as Washington. This is a guy who is going to kill it in the interview process. I already know that. As a pure running back, he has good vision. He keeps his legs turning. I don't know if he's got that breakaway speed. I don't know if his contact balance is the best in the class, but I think he has enough of those. He's got good enough hands. He pass protects, which is another big plus for me. But then also, the dude played in the national championship game with, I think he blew both of his knees and had a bum ankle and was still trying to play that game because he wanted his team to win so badly. So this is a dude that's got heart. Um, he's a leader. I would take him on my team any day of the week. And I think he's going to fly up draft boards. He's a guy that you want in your locker room. Do I see him as an RB1? No, I don't. But if you told me he's your RB2 or RB3 on your team and 3 games a year he goes for 85 yards and is the lead running back because a couple guys got injured and he's a reliable backup running back, I would say 100%. I already knew that. So he's kind of more of a safe floor pick for this. That's why he's only at 14, but a good leader, someone that you really want on your team, good character. Kamani Vidal from Troy. This one, I freaking love this running back. Um, he's, I mean, he's a yards after contact machine. He probably isn't the fastest guy, but he's got enough short area quickness and burst where it really doesn't matter about his long speed. He's a guy that is going to truck through guys or wiggle in the hole and make guys miss. You kind of think about like a Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Le'Veon Bell ran a 4.65, I believe, in the combine. He was patient and had enough wiggle and enough power to kind of get through guys. That's kind of what I see of Kamani Vidal. I love Kamani Vidal out of Troy. He's one of my guys in this draft, and I'm very excited to see what he does in the Senior Bowl. Will Shipley from Clemson. This is more of a floor pick as well. That's why he's here at number 2. He's got really good hands. He doesn't pass protect as well as I was hoping he would, but he's kind of that RB2 pass catching running back that every team is looking for. I think his ceiling is Alvin Kamara. He doesn't have the wiggles that Alvin Kamara has. He doesn't have the contact balance as of now that Alvin Kamara has. So I don't want to say, oh, pass catching back, think Alvin Kamara, but kind of the role that Alvin Kamara started as is what I want you guys to envision. When there was Mark Ingram and then Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram would come off on third downs, Alvin Kamara comes in, maybe they throw it to him and he wiggles here and there. That's what I see with Will Shipley to start out, but he's got to be able to pass protect. If he can't pass protect, this is a guy that I think will get drafted, but yeah, if you tell me he's a 6th round, 7th round pick, I wouldn't be surprised. If you tell me he's a 3rd round pick, I wouldn't be surprised. So he's got a high variance because really it's that pass protection. I got to see him pass protect in his pro day and everything like that for me to really feel confident about him. Let's go to Carson Steele, UCLA. He's a transfer from Ball State. This is a guy I really enjoyed preseason summer scouting. He was one of my guys. He is a bowling ball that also has wiggle and speed. So I've already compared someone to Evan Hull, but this is really the Evan Hull where he's got enough wiggle that he makes guys miss, or he just makes guys get slightly out of position to tackle him, where he can run through arm tackles and side tackles and everything like that. He's got enough speed. He's not going to be the fastest guy, but it's more of a football IQ and a vision and that I kind of like with Carson Steele. So I've got him up here just because with the vision, the IQ, the enough of a power game to him, and I don't know what he's going to run in the 40, but I don't fully care whenever it comes to a guy like this. I really like him. Do I think he's going to be a top 10 running back pick? No, I don't, but I think as a 5th round pick, he's a guy that can get on the field, kind of like a James Conner. Is kind of what really is coming to me right now is James Conner. Marshawn Lloyd from USC. He is honestly probably underrated on this list. I have him at number 10 because there's some guys in front of him that I really, really enjoyed watching. But Marshawn Lloyd is a guy that on some tapes, he is a top 3 running back in this class. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weaker running back class, but as you can tell with all these guys down here, it's weak in the top part of the class, but the middle of the class is so big that you can get an RB2 out of 20 of the guys in the class, and there might be 3 RB1s, something like that. But there's a bunch of guys that I'd be comfortable on my running back committee, and Marshawn Lloyd's the guy. I need to see more consistency out of him. So there's some tapes that you watch him and, you're thinking, holy crap, this guy's got speed, he's got burst, he's got wiggle, he's got explosiveness. Look at him running through guys. Look at him catching the ball. He's outrunning guys. And then there's other tapes where he kind of seems lost. Like he doesn't know how to read the hole. Like the first guy that hits him is the strongest man in the world. Like Ray Lewis just hit him and he falls straight to the ground. There are other guys that he gets caught from behind that when he's running the ball. And it's not like he looks really good against San Jose State and then he looks really bad against Washington. That's not what it was. There were some games against Washington that he looked good, and other games against UCLA, who also had a good defense this year, that he didn't look good. It was stuff like that where it's like, okay, it's not the level of competition. Um, and I don't know. I don't know what his inconsistencies were. But if he can be consistently closer to the top of his game, he doesn't have to be that amazing top end player that you saw in some of his tape. He just had to be closer. 80% of that, and he's probably top 3 running back in this class. So I want to see more consistency from him. I want to see him in the Senior Bowl practices. That's where I was really going to shine. I don't really care too much about the game. I want to see him in practices, the one-on-one, the pass protecting, just kind of how he goes through the day-to-day being told to do things that he's uncomfortable doing. So that is Marshawn Lloyd to me. Cody Schrader, Missouri. This is my guy. This is my guy of this class. He was a walk-on, ends up walking on to Missouri. He's got enough size to him, 5'9", 205 pounds, 5'9", 210 maybe. He's got enough size to him, but just the way that his teammates talk about him is just, he's a leader. He gives everything to this game. He's a guy that can catch the ball really well. He tries to pass protect. I think that's the next part of his game that he's going to get a little bit better. But he's got vision. He does not go down on the first guy. Pause. He does not go down from the first tackler. He just powers through. It's like every single run is his last run, and he is going to make the most of it. And I really enjoy the guy. He has enough speed. He doesn't have great speed, but he's got enough. He reminds me of when I was watching him. I was thinking, man, this reminds me of Jaylen Warren from on Pittsburgh right now from Maryland. And I went back and I looked at some of that tape, and I was like, man, these guys are really, really similar. And you saw Jaylen Warren looks like the better running back in Pittsburgh. And that's who Cody Schrader reminds me of. I love this kid. This is my sleeper of this draft class. I don't know if he'll go in the 3rd round. He's probably more of a 4th or 5th round guy, but don't bet against Cody Schrader. That's all I'll say. Audric Estime from Notre Dame. If you heard my dynasty mock draft with Noah a few months ago, this is his boy. A big body running back. He isn't that explosive. He doesn't have that much long speed to him. He can't catch the ball that well, but he's a power back. He's just a true power back. He's got good vision in between the tackles, and he doesn't go down on the first carry. So this is a guy who, I mean, it's easy to say he's kind of like a Gus Edwards, where I think he can develop into having good enough hands, and he's not slow. Like I know Gus Edwards has some speed to him, but he's just a guy who's probably your RB2, your goal line running back, your short yardage running back, but he's not going to kill you when it comes to pass protection or anything like that. I think he'll be good enough at that kind of stuff where it's not. A couple years ago, there was the dude from Chicago, Jordan. I don't remember the guy's name, but there's the dude at Chicago who, anytime he's in the game, you're like, okay, they're running the ball. And once they take him out, you're like, okay, they're probably passing the ball. Because he couldn't pass protect. He couldn't catch. He was one-dimensional. Estime is not going to be like that. He'll be able to do a little bit in the passing game where it's not a tell whenever he's in the game. All right, let's go to our number 7 guy, Ray Davis from Kentucky. He started at Vanderbilt, was the best player at Vanderbilt by far, went to Kentucky and just continued to dominate. This year, Kentucky's offensive line was not that good. Last year, the offensive line also struggled, but this year they struggled even worse. And Ray Davis is breaking through tackles. He's got great vision. He can run gap scheme. He can run inside-outside zone. He's got enough burst for it. This is a running back that I need to see pass protect and catch. Those are really the only 2 things. The other stuff is vision, his burst, his contact balance, his NFL size. He's got everything that I really want to be comfortable, where honestly, if I see him at the Senior Bowl and he looks like he's pass protecting very well, I might move him up to number 3. I just need to see a little bit more of pass protecting and see him catch some balls. And I also kind of want to know his 40 time because I don't think he doesn't have that top end speed, but if he does, he does. But it's not going to be a negative if I see him run a 4.65. But if I see him run a 4.45, I'm like, oh, okay. So it's something that can only be a positive. Just double checking it. But Ray Davis is another guy I really love in this draft class. All right, so let's go to our last 6 players. So number 6 is Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. He is 6'2", 6'3", 240 pounds. He's also a year younger than most of the guys in this draft class because he, whoops, I forgot to take Travion Henderson out. I believe he went back to school. So we'll take him out. Everyone's getting bumped up. It doesn't matter. Braylon Allen is not as physical as I really wanted to see as a 240-pound running back. It's almost like it's what I said about if you looked at my summer scouting and you saw what I said about Raheem Rocket Sanders, where you're a 240-pound running back and you're trying to make guys shake in the open area. Why are you doing that? It's what Derrick Henry was doing his first couple years in the league. It's like, dude, that's not what you got to be doing. You need to be running through these guys. Run through them. Don't try to make them move in the open space. And that's kind of what Braylon Allen was doing this year. So I wasn't too impressed, but his ceiling is so high. He's got good hands. The dude catches really well. He can pass protect. He's got good vision where he can run inside, outside. He can run gap. He's got a good enough burst. It's not great burst, but again, he's 240 pounds. And he's also young. He doesn't really have that much tread on his tires or whatever the saying is. He hasn't ran 3,000 carries in college or anything like that. So I really do like him. But honestly, I think Ray Davis might have to go in front of him. We'll see how Ray Davis performs at the Senior Bowl. All right, these next 4 guys. Bucky Irving from Oregon is explosive, electric. Yeah, he's explosive, electric. He's got good vision. He's an NFL running back through and through. When you see, I'm trying to think of a running back to compare him to that's in the league right now. Yeah, oh man, I don't know. Tony Pollard, maybe. I would kind of compare him to, yeah, let's say Tony Pollard. I think Bucky Irving's a little bit smaller than Tony Pollard, but you get the gist where he's just explosive. He's got good hands and he's explosive and electric. And if he gets the sideline, he's gone. That's kind of how he is. Blake Corum is my next guy from Michigan. Everyone knows Blake Corum. We thought he was going out last year. He came back. He won a title. Good for him. He's got huge quads. I'm worried about how much damage his knees have taken because he is a power back. He's a power back that has good hands, that has great vision. I mean, phenomenal vision. And he's got good enough breakaway speed that this guy is 5'9", 200 pounds. But he's taken damage to his knees 100%. I don't know how much more he can take in the NFL, but I would say his vision's the best in the class. He's got good burst. He's got good power. His good combination of everything that you want in an NFL running back. And that's him. I think trying to come up with a comp for him, I can't really. So sorry. Now I'll have comps at the end of the process before the draft starts. We'll have some comps for these guys and kind of do that. But I mean, he's a second round running back unless people are concerned about the amount of carries he has. Trey Benson is more of he's got good contact balance. He's got good vision, but he's more of the breakaway guy out of these 3. Out of these 4, these next 4 are all second round picks in my opinion. Trey Benson is a guy who I would take in the top 40. Same with Jonathan Brooks. Trey Benson has explosive speed. He's got good enough pass catch, or he's got good enough catching ability. He's got good vision. He's got good enough contact balance where honestly he is, and it sucks because I'm scouting these guys and I see FSU and I'm trying not to go with FSU, but it's like this is what Dalvin Cook looked like when he came out. It really is. It's what Dalvin Cook looked like when he came out. So I don't want to do the FSU comp, but He just keeps reminding me of Dalvin every time I watch him. Jonathan Brooks from Texas, the most explosive runner in the class, I might say. This is a guy who I didn't think was going to come out this year. And I was very sad that he wasn't going to come out this year because he tore his ACL. So he's going to be ready just before training camp, but he's not going to be able to do any of the drills. He'll be able to do interviews, but he's not going to run combine stuff, which is a shame. But he didn't need it. This is a guy who, if he was healthy the entire year, Texas probably wins against Washington, right? That's who they played. Yeah, wins against Washington and goes on um, to the college football championship, and then who knows what would have happened. And he also would have been a first round pick. I think this is one that would be a first round pick if he didn't tear his ACL. So he is the most pro ready running back, and that's with Blake Corum in this draft class. I think Blake Corum and as long as Jonathan Brooks comes back from his ACL, sorry, there's like a fly in here, comes back from his ACL and is the same guy, they're both day one starters. Is this the most top heavy? Like, is this the craziest running back draft class? No, it's not. It's not the craziest running back draft class. It doesn't have Saquon Barkley or Leonard Fournette or Christian McCaffrey or anyone like that in it. But it's got solid guys up top with Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Bucky Irving. And then the next group of guys, Braylon Allen, Ray Davis, Audric Estime, Marshawn Lloyd, Cody Schrader, like these are all guys that also could start. They also are guys that could turn out to be RB1s as well. So and then as you go down the rest of the list, it's guys that I could see all of them being RB2 in a committee, RB2, RB3 in a committee, and having some sort of role on a team. So it's an extremely deep running back class with not like grade A top talent, I would say. But if you disagree, or hey, if you agree with any of the rankings, go ahead and give me a good job down in the comment section. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe. We'll be doing probably 2 to 3 videos every single week up until draft season. And then after the draft, we're going to go ahead and hammer down on every single team's draft grade. I'm going to evaluate all their picks. So go ahead and follow for that. Put down in the comment section if you disagree with the top end of this ranking. I think a lot of these guys you can flip-flop with each other. You could probably take Marshawn Lloyd at 10 and put him up to 3, and take Blake Corum and put him to 1, and not Travion Henderson because he's not there, but Audric Estime you could probably drop down to 15. There's a lot of nuances and similarities between all these guys. There's minuscule areas of difference with a lot of it. So appreciate you guys stopping by. Have a great day. Peace.